Hi guys, it's Jason Whistler with Ninja Success, just in case you didn't remember. So today what's been rattling around a little bit upstairs is the idea of impermanence. So yesterday we talked about imperfection, and today, obviously a bit of a trend or a theme, I guess, impermanence. And so with impermanence, a lot of people, when they think about it or they're first introduced to it, the notion is that, all things end, all things eventually die. So it gets a very negative connotation to it. My suggestion is that without impermanence, our lives would be pretty boring. Just like without imperfection, there wouldn't be even any striving for perfection. Without impermanence, there wouldn't be any motivation to do or accomplish anything. Why would it matter? Right? So I find it very motivating, for one, and I also like to encourage people that even when we're in a situation where, so impermanence can actually work in our favor, and frequently, in fact, does just about every day, right? So not only do the good things that we want to last forever, they don't, right? Thankfully, the bad things we would like to end also don't last forever. They will end. They have to. It's a universal law. It's like a principle. It's not something you can defy. It's not something you can just stop happening. It's going to happen. Everything works in nature. If we look around at the world around us, everything works in cycles. Seasons work in cycles. Weather works in cycles. Stock markets, real estate markets work in cycles. Booms and declines in populations in different areas work in cycles. All of these things, they get their peak and then they decline, and then there's a reset period, and then there's something new that will take off and build and come again. So the best thing we can do is start to recognize where those cycles are, where they exist, how they, how big. Some cycles are really, really short. I mean, we measure sound waves in cycles per second, right? We measure clock timings for computers in millions and, more than millions at this point, cycles per second, or computations per second. But what they're doing is they're cycling through ones and zeros. So even our most complex, our most amazing inventions rely upon these cycles. They're inescapable, right? So you might as well use it. If you want to create something great, get to understand how things work cyclically, so that you know that if you're in a low spot, great, now is the time to start collecting your resources. Now is the time to start figuring out where you're going to go from here, how you're going to grow, not even how you're going to grow, but what you're going to do as you grow, right? The how might reveal itself later. But right now, like when you're in the middle of things, when you're in the thick of things, you can get stuck there. You can get mired, stuck in a rut kind of a thing. There's a Tibetan mandala. It's an image, okay, and it's an image of the cycles of human existence and human life and mental states and sort of our realms of existence, as how it's been described, and so it's really kind of interesting to me. It paints a really interesting psychological picture. But in each of these 6 realms, there's ways to get stuck, and there's ways that we cause things to backfire on ourselves, and there's also a key or a way out to get out of that stuck place, so you can get around and eventually you know, hopefully the goal is you end up in, and there's the human realm on this map, and that realm is the one place where you can escape the wheel entirely, and you know, that's the escape out of samsara. It's which means to go around very much. It's the escape to nirvana or heaven, or a blissful state, the enlightened state. And but it's interesting, even in, you know, so they've got a hell realm, and they've got a god realm, and they've got this warring titans realm, and all of these realms. So like the hell realm is where people seem, whatever they do, whatever they're focused on, they just seem to cause themselves more pain and more problems. And in the God realm, everything seems to go perfect for them. The trick there is, in the God realm, is that you forget to pay attention to things, so you can end up neglectful, and that's the trap, and that causes you to fall, and now everything falls apart, and your world shatters, and it's one of those cycles. And there's even a picture right in this. I mean, it's drawn right into this graphic, that there's this ladder of people climbing from the one realm up to the other, and then there's people falling back down into the other. So they just get stuck in that. And then they, so there's the realm of animals, and there's the realm of the warring titans, and that's like keeping up with the Joneses. You never have enough. You're never good enough. There's always better, more. The animal realm's kind of like you're just stuck in your day-to-day routine. Nothing changes. Nothing's challenged. You just go about your stuff. And then there's one other sort of unfortunate kind of a realm where it doesn't matter how much you have, you'll never feel satisfaction. And like all the people in that picture have these like choked off throats and distended bellies because, even though there's food around them, they can't eat it, kind of a thing. And then I'm sure you've met people like that too, where they expect the worst out of everything, and even when things are going well, they're complaining. So we don't want to get stuck in those, and thankfully, nothing's permanent, including those states, and that's why there's always these opportunities to move out of those states. And you'll probably notice, if you look back at your own life, there's been times where maybe you've been in one of those for a period of time, and then you come out, and then you moved into a different realm for a while, and you've come out. The human realm is the one where we suffer. That's the imperfection and the impermanence that we get to experience it, right? But it's that experience of it that drives us and keeps us moving and keeps us awake and aware and keeps us striving toward the escape of the cycle. And that's where the opportunity is. That's the one place where there's the jump off point that we can get out of this cyclical experience of causing ourselves problems over and over again. So the next time you think about impermanence, the next time you're having a really bad day, remember, it might just be a bad couple of minutes. It might just be a bad hour. There's no need to extend it out. Let it go. Let it be just another one of the day's cycles. Something bad happened. It'll be gone. If somebody else said something to you or whatever, they're gonna have a bad day too. They're just creating energy for themselves and getting stuck somewhere. So let's not take on their stuff. Let it end. Let's follow the cycle around back toward the happy places, and then know when we're at the happy place, it's time to start working on getting another cycle going as we're coming up the crest of this happy place. It's time not just to kick back and relax and everything's great and we don't have to work anymore, because that's that God realm trap. Everything's great now, I don't have to work anymore, and then down we go. So as we're coming up and things are starting to really look great, it's time to start the next thing, so we bring up the next cycle and we can kind of keep these troughs going so we can stay up, and it's an active pursuit that way. So we're managing and watching those cycles and staying on top of the flow rather than getting caught, essentially like getting caught under the wave where you get crushed by it. We want to surf it and kind of catch one wave to the next to the next. So that's it. That's my thoughts on impermanence, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it gives you some food for your own thoughts, and a different perspective, a way to think about things and approach things. And just remember, success ninjas never quit. We look for those high points always. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.